Welcome to the Rabbit Hole Fantasy Football Podcast. Thoughts, analysis, and information to help you succeed in your fantasy football leagues. I am your host, Chad Lyon, and I am here with Tyler Bevel.
Hey.
And our producer, Mitchell Bird.
Hello.
This is our Week 4 game slate reaction. And Tyler's back.
I'm back.
From Canada.
Yeah, almost. Black Lake, New York.
Oh, I thought you were in Canada.
No, just 20 minutes from Canada.
Close to Canada.
Yeah, real close.
You were in Canada.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
I
how'd it
seen
go?
the St. Lawrence. It was good. A lot of fun. Caught some fish. Hard to get 10-inch crappies up there, but we struggled through it.
All right.
I had to bring some bluegills home, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I started looking at the crappie bags like Wednesday. I was like, I'm going to catch some bluegills tomorrow. I ain't coming back with 20 crappies.
Well, make sure that you have a fish fry, please.
I did. I had one yesterday.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad that I knew about that.
After the Steelers lost, I was like, well, I don't feel so good. I'm going to cook some fish.
All right, man. That's awesome. I'm glad you had a good time. It was just you.
Me, my grandfather, my Uncle Lance, and then Ian, my Uncle Mike. So 5 of us up there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We stay in it's a fish camp. No TV or anything. It's like lights in the shower and a couple beds. I sleep out on the porch. I call it the loon's nest. Got rained on one night. That was unfortunate. Woke up, water was like hitting me in the face. I was like, okay, gotta move inside.
Beers and fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a good time up near Canada. Awesome. Good stuff. Hey, do you remember that we do this thing called Top 3 List?
I do. What's the top 3 list?
It's been a minute. Top 3 pizza styles.
Oh, boy.
Let's go.
Pepperoni pizza. It's classic pepperoni pizza. I'll go with buffalo chicken pizza as my 2. I'm going with veggie pizza as my 3.
Oh,
Veggie pizza.
Yep.
veggie pizza.
Yeah. Put the dough down on like a sheet tray. And what'd you say it is? It's like the ranch seasoning mixed with
Sour cream, I
sour
think.
cream. You put that down as your base and like some broccoli and carrots and veggies on top. It might not sound the best, but
With
it's
some
banging.
Sounds good.
All these veggies are like shredded really fine.
Yeah.
There's cheese on there. And this is cold.
And don't skimp on the ranch sour cream. Like, load it up.
Good stuff. Mitchell, what about you, man?
All right. I'm going to do mushroom. I like mushroom on my pizza is my number 1.
All right.
Then I'm going to do buffalo chicken pizza.
Nice.
And I'm going to do bacon chicken ranch as my 3rd.
All right.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't like those fancy pizzas like that.
I'm a huge
the-
fan of pepperoni.
The buffalo chicken one does get me.
Yeah.
A little blue cheese on there. Let's go.
Mhm.
But I'm definitely more traditional. My top 3 would be Meat Lovers is 1. Pepperoni pizza with extra pepperoni is 2. And then, man, you cannot go wrong with you can't go wrong with a plain cheese pizza. I just love it.
I never get plain cheese pizza.
Sometimes I do.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Plain cheese, just good.
Yeah.
I want a good crispy undercarriage with it.
Thin crust. We all thin crust guys. Like thin.
Yeah.
For the most part, if it's plain cheese, I want like thin, crispy pizza.
Yeah.
But
Not a
all the
huge-
others, I mean, it could be thin, it could be, I don't know, whatever.
I prefer like a
deep
thin
dish.
crust.
I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not a deep dish
And if
guy.
you don't eat your crust, like if you're a child and you don't eat your crust, grow up.
Eat your crust.
Like, yeah, knock
eat
it
your
off.
crust. Listen,
I still don't eat my crust.
Oh,
I won't
Mitch,
do it. No.
grow up, dude.
Listen, you just have to leave a small layer of pizza in front of that crust.
You
and
don't
then
even have to do
crust.
that. You just have to be an
Well,
adult. That's all you have to do.
I was explaining to him how children do it.
Give me
And
some
that's
blue
how-
cheese or ranch, and I'll eat the crust.
All right.
Oh.
All right. We'll give you some ranch or blue cheese, whatever.
Blue
you
cheese
want.
preferred, but yes. at least
Chelsea's
ranch.
kids leave their crust. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Eat that right now.
What are you, a child?
I'm only 7.
Oh, that's great. All right, now I want pizza. But what we really should be doing here is let's get into the Sunday 1 o'clock games, and we'll start with the Bengals 34, the Panthers 24. No revenge win for Dalton.
No, he tried.
He did. He made it a game.
Yeah.
The receivers, though, they're elevated because of Dalton,
Yeah.
as we, kind of hoped.
Deontay Johnson looked really good.
Yeah, 13 targets, finished with 21 PPR points. And Xavier Legette stepped up in the absence of Thielen. 10 targets, 19 PPR points. Both of them found the end zone. Him and Deontay both. We've already assumed Dalton would elevate Johnson to like flex tier or better, and he has. But where are we at with Leggett? Like he's an ad, right?
Oh, for sure.
He's an ad this week.
Love the targets.
6 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown on 10 targets.
Yeah, I mean, he's right behind Deontay Johnson, the 783, both averaging right around 11 yards per catch. Yeah, definitely an ad.
Should we assume that the volume continues?
Yeah, I still think this is a team that's going to be playing from behind a lot, and they're going to have to pass a lot. Worth noting, Leggett also had 2 carries for 10 yards. They did a couple ends around. But yeah, definitely an ad, and I think moving forward, this is going to be good with Andy Dalton here. I think definitely a flex player.
Okay. So are we considering Deontay a receiver too then?
Fringe receiver too.
High-end flex.
Yeah. I still think he's going to be the number one target there. I mean, we talked about a separation before, and Andy Dalton's competent enough to get him the ball.
All right, fair enough. I think Leggett could be a good flex.
Yeah.
Again, playing from behind, they should be throwing a lot. I think this could be good. And I was not someone who was high on Leggett at all.
Well,
I'll be honest.
All the Leggett talk was factored into Bryce Young, too.
Well, that's true.
You know, like Andy Dalton is just a more competent quarterback.
Sure. Competency matters.
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard, keeping himself quite relevant. 18 carries, 104 yards, and a touchdown. Also had 4 catches for 17 yards. Got you 21 PPR points, 5.8 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Now, Bengals aren't a very good defense, in my opinion. But listen, Dalton's elevating the whole team into fantasy relevance. This is great.
Yeah, worth monitoring with Chuba Hubbard, the Jonathan Brooks thing.
Yes, so that was Chuba Hubbard. He's a high-end flex, but
it's going to shake out differently when Brooks comes in there.
For sure.
And I think it'll be a slow process. I don't think they're going to be like, oh, well, here's 20 carries right out of the gate for Brooks. I think they'll try to get him acclimated. They don't want to rush him back, but
he could be back in a week or two.
Yeah, and I think end of the season, I'd say Brooks is going to be the guy that you want.
I would imagine so. Burrow was fine. 18 fantasy points, 22 of 31, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. I mean, it's fine. You're starting Burrow.
Yeah, you got to just keep... You expected more from him in this game, though, right?
Yeah. I really did.
That Bengals offensive line is not good pass protection-wise.
When are they going to fix that?
Never.
Good God.
I think it's just like a thing. They might even be proud of it at this point. It's just us, you know? It's what we do.
Yeah. Whatever. You start Burrow. If you have what you feel like is a better option, that's okay too.
Chase and Zach, man, split right down. He's got 15 carries.
I know. So Zach Moss was my start of the week, and Chase Brown ruined it. You know, just when I thought, it felt like they were just going to be leaning Moss a little more. Yeah, Chase Brown says hello.
To me, though, this has been this way the whole way through, and I still think this is a split time share going forward. But everything that I have seen with my eyes tells me that Chase Brown is the better running back.
I have to agree. Moss had 19 total touches. Brown had 17. So Brown just did a little more with his.
But when you focus on that 15 carries, Chase Brown, 15 carries, 80 yards, 5.3, even taking away the 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Zach Moss, 15 carries, 51, 3.4.
It's
a drop.
It is.
I know that Chase had some big runs in there that elevated that average, but
he's definitely the more explosive back. When you're
don't you think
comparing
at a certain point that has to be the guy that you want on the field?
You would think so.
I think it's a split. To me, the Bengals are showing that they want this thing to be split, but I want Chase Brown out of these two.
Yeah, 21 PPR points for Chase Brown to Zach Moss's 17. I mean, you'll take either one.
Sure.
And like you said, roughly the same amount of touches, but there was a difference there in YPC for sure.
It looks different when Chase Brown gets the ball.
It does. So I don't know. It is a 50-50 timeshare, but are they both like right now, as long as that continues, both like matchup dependent flexes?
Yeah, because I think no matter who you choose on that side, I do think it's a 50-50 timeshare. Maybe the most accurate 50-50 in the most true 50-50 in the league, and you're gonna have bad weeks playing this game.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Maybe you trade that package if you have the package, if you have them both.
Maybe.
Or do you hold and like wait for one to overtake the other?
If you get something good in a redraft for both where you're getting like one really good player, I'm taking that.
Yeah, I think
just
I would
because
too.
I don't want to have that headache for the whole year. And if I can get one player that I feel is really good for those two, then you're not going to start them both.
Right.
So that's how I would handle that, I guess. In a dynasty, I'm keeping Chase Brown.
For sure. Flip Zach Moss.
Yep.
Especially if you hang on just another week or two and Zach Moss outdoes Chase Brown. There you go. That's your chance to pull the trigger. Jamar Chase, only 3 catches, but he's effective with them. Snagged 85 yards and a touchdown. Big catch and run play.
What a play.
Oh, that was awesome. Great. The contact balance on that was just fantastic.
This is another team where I want these wide receivers. I just don't think the Bengals are that good this year.
Yeah.
They're going to be, they won, but you're playing the Panthers, and
you're in a battle.
You were right up until the end of the game. It was neck and neck.
Yeah. 18 PPR points for Chase, 6 total targets. Connection is somewhat back there, and you're happy about it.
Yeah.
T. Higgins out-targeted Chase with 10 targets. Caught 6 of them for 60 yards, 12 PPR points. He seems healthy.
Yeah. I don't know how much Horn played into that.
Right.
Shadow and Chase a little bit.
I'm sure it played in.
Weeks, you know what I mean? But,
sure. Overall, though, better days ahead for Higgins. I guess you'll take 12.
I'm starting Higgins and Chase every week.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just... Especially, like I said, I think this team's going to be playing from behind a lot, throwing the ball. You worry about the division games.
Yep.
But
Chase is a 1 and weekly, obviously, and T. Higgins is a weekly 2.
Yeah.
And some weeks you're going to get flex type numbers out of them. That's what it's a territory of being a receiver 2 in fantasy.
For sure.
So, all right, let's move on to the Saints 24 and the Falcons 26. I'm done with Pitts.
Yeah.
I'm done. 0 catches, 3 targets. I don't understand anything, apparently. I don't know. Is he not good?
No, he's good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't understand this. I don't understand this at all.
I know when it was like the fourth quarter and I was working on some stuff. Well, I had Red Zone on. I was watching, but then like you can't see everything on Red Zone. And I get on the Sleeper app and I look at Kyle Pitts. Luckily, he was on my bench. But man, I seen that big 0 there, and I'm like, what happened? Is he hurt? Switch to the Falcons game. No, he's in. Like, what? I just don't understand.
I don't get it either. It seems, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what to say. I'm like at a complete loss I don't know what to say. I mean, he's out there. He's running routes. I imagine his snap share is right up there with anybody, Drake London. I'm sure they're all on the field at the same time. He's on the field a lot. I'm watching this game and I'm like, well, there goes Pitts again, just running around for no reason. I don't understand it, man.
He's not getting subbed in by anybody.
Is there a separation issue maybe that I'm missing?
Maybe. Something I really need to evaluate this week because I don't know.
I don't know either. This one deserves a deeper dive.
And like when you're looking at, but like other guys are getting the targets. Ray-Ray McCloud's getting targets. Darnell Mooney's getting targets. Like what is going on?
Yeah.
Like now, you blamed Arthur Smith. You blamed Ritter, Heineke. Now you have a competent quarterback in there that's still not throwing the ball to him for some reason. I don't know what it is, but
I don't know. I don't understand it. We'll just have to look more into it this week. I know I plan to. And maybe we can come up with something, but something's not right, and I can't believe it's a
Tyler Algier caught 2 catches.
Yeah, right. He can't even catch one.
Get Pitts the ball one time.
Yeah, I don't know. The Falcons defense scoring twice really brought down like the whole Falcons fantasy output, really. London gave you 12 PPR points on 10 targets. He led the receivers in targets, as you would hope and expect. McLeod was second in targets with 7. He caught 6 of them for 52 yards and 11 PPR points. And Mooney finished with 8 PPR points. He had 6 targets. So London clearly leads, and that's great to see. Mooney or McLeod rest of season as far as like a flex player. Who do you like more?
PPR, give me McLeod.
I called McLeod a couple weeks ago. I was wrong. Give me Mooney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mooney had a great catch.
Yeah.
That game. Amazing catch.
He's a good receiver, man.
The targets were there for Mooney. I mean, he only had 3 for 56. What did you say? 8 targets?
Let's see. 6 targets.
6 targets. That's still
8 points.
Yeah. You take away the 2 defensive touchdowns, like you said, you feel like these numbers are better.
Yeah.
Because even the running back numbers are weird. Like Tyler Algier had 8 carries. Bijan had 7.
Yeah. That's so. Is this Bijan thing getting concerning?
A little bit. I mean, I didn't think Tyler Algier was going to go anywhere, but you still felt like Bijan is a feature guy. But
right, 1 touchdown in 4 games. Him and Algier basically split touches 50-50. Bijan, you said it. Bijan with 11 and Algier with 10. 10 PPR points for Bijan and 11 for Algier. So, like,
yeah, I don't know.
I'm a little worried about him returning that ADP value. That's
for sure at this point.
I mean, we're 4 weeks in here. Oof.
And I thought that guy was just going to be a stud this year.
I thought we were done with this like timeshare thing, but I
didn't think Algier was going to go anywhere.
No, but like I didn't think like
and like the 10 touches for Algier seems right, maybe a little high, but you still feel like Robinson should get 20.
Right. For sure.
And I don't know.
I don't understand it. I'm
frustrating.
I'm hoping to see it go the other way, but I mean, listen, real life, Algier's effective. They're
7.5 yards per carry.
They're not. Yeah, they're not going to stop using them.
And the guy's a bowling ball.
So that's kind of a problem. If Bijan has a big week, do you sell him?
Yeah.
See if you can just get an awesome haul for him.
Yep.
Like as far as redraft goes.
Yeah, if he has one blow up week, I probably would at this point, just because I'm so gun shy of the whole thing.
Man, feels too early, but I don't want to get stuck with this.
No.
All right. Derek Carr had a game manager week. Taysom Hill got in the way. Didn't really affect the skill players. He did, he supported Olave and Shaheed both.
Olave was really promising to see.
Yeah. Yep. 21 targets between Olave and Shaheed.
Those are the guys.
Yep. 10 for Olave, 11 for Shaheed.
Good to see Shaheed getting more involved in like just the middle passing game too, not just a deep ball.
Yep, for sure. Neither had a touchdown, but they were both really close to scoring. Both of them.
Yep, both had 8 catches for over 80 yards.
Yeah. 16 PPR points for Olave, 15 for Shaheed. Tyler, if Olave is a receiver 2, what is Shaheed? Because we kind of talked about
receiver 3
this.
with 2 upside.
Yeah.
Still a little bit boomer bust to call him a wide receiver 2, but
does a target share like that make you wonder otherwise?
If he's going to get this target share, but this is the first week he's really got a target share like this, so it's
fair point.
And he would have had actually a point more than Olave if he didn't have the fumble.
Right. Yeah.
Because he had they always run them end around things with him, and he did have 2 carries for 14 yards, but he fumbled the ball.
Right.
So.
Okay. Hey, Kamara keeps doing rejuvenated looking Kamara things.
Yeah.
19 carries, 77 yards, and a touchdown.
Mitchell's happy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. 19 carries, 77 yards, and a touchdown. Also had 7 catches for 42. Gave you 24 PPR points. He looked good. Again, we were wrong. Continue to eat the crow on it. He is an RB1 and most likely an RB2 on most rosters. Props to those folks. Yeah. And again, it's 19 carries on the ground. He's getting...
Yeah, it's not the Alvin Kamara it was last year where he's so dependent on the catches.
Yep, I'm liking what I'm seeing. All right, let's move on to the Vikings 31, the Packers 29. Well, the Vikings almost blew it, and then they didn't.
They should have blew it.
Yeah. What a wild game.
It was. One of the better games of the Sunday.
Didn't think it was going to be initially.
No.
I wondered initially if Jordan Love even was like fully healthy. I was like,
the Green Bay, they scored 22 points in the fourth quarter.
Something like that, yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, but by the end, my mind was changed. I was like, oh no, he's fine. He might have some soreness, but he's fine.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings defense is really good, though.
Yeah.
I think it's a real good defense.
Which says something about Jordan Love, too.
Sure. Yeah, listen, even though Love threw 3 picks, he was still able to turn in a great fantasy day.
He
which usually happens.
He got hurt in the first game of the season. Like, you could make the argument that he's still shaking some rust off too. And then the weird start coming like back from injury against a tough defense.
Sure. 54 pass attempts. He was 32 for 54, 389 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks, but 31 fantasy points. Listen, you'll take that first game back. Loves efficiency, all that stuff. It's going to come back around.
Yeah,
be fine. Like you said, it was week 1. He got hurt. These guys need a week or 2 to shake some rust. That's how it goes. We always wonder, it's such a slow start. Well, that's what it is every year.
Be happy.
Yeah,
you're good.
He'll be fine. Christian Watson left the game with some kind. I think it was an ankle injury.
Yeah.
So keep an eye. They're saying it's not too serious, but
Dontavian Wicks really stepped up once Christian Watson went out big time.
Led all pass catchers and targets with 13. Caught 5 of them for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. 24 PPR points. Targets are plenty for everyone. When you're throwing the ball 54 times, even Tucker Kraft got involved. He had 9 targets. Caught 6 of them for 53 and a score. 17 PPR points for him. That's an outlier, I have to imagine, right?
For Wicks?
No, Tucker Kraft.
Oh, yeah.
Jaden Reed, that dude's fantastic. He's absolutely fantastic. 7 catches, 8 targets, 139 yards, and a touchdown. Finishing with 26 PPR points. Dude's electric. So much fun to watch. I think Reed is the best receiver here, but I think Wicks is available in a lot of leagues.
I think he is too.
And he is. I don't know what's going to go on. If Christian Watson is going to miss time and just be completely out of the way, that's huge for Wicks.
If Christian Watson misses time right now, I think it's bad for Christian Watson.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't feel comfortable letting Dontavian Wicks take my spot on the field right now.
he's really, really good.
Yeah.
There's just a lot going on here. There's Dobbs, there's Watson, there's Reed. There's a lot of guys who can do a lot of different things and cover certain roles that.
Jaden Reed's the guy you want, but if Christian Watson doesn't play, I'm calling Wicks a wide receiver 3 with 2 upside.
Oh, I'm calling him a 2.
Are you?
Yep.
Packers want to pass the ball.
See, and you think about it, he's better than Dobbs too.
Yeah.
But there's something that Dobbs does that Wicks doesn't.
I think
it's a role thing. And then
I think it's also the fact that because Wicks had a ton of targets. He had 5 catches. Dobbs, I think, is the guy that Love knows where he's at when he needs him.
It's that role.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if check down's the right word, but safety blanket.
Safety blanket is probably a better word.
Super sure-handed.
Yeah.
But I think Dontavian Wicks is a all-around better receiver. It's just, again, it's a role thing. So with Christian Watson out of the way, it's Dontavian Wicks. Now you're looking at Wicks, Dobbs, and Reed on the field.
Yeah.
So I think you got to add him. You got to prioritize him. Spend fab on him. If you're in a fab league, spend fab on Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah, I'm taking that chance.
And then immediately start him.
Yeah.
As long as Watson's out.
Spend 20 to 25% of your fab on Wicks.
Absolutely.
If you're at this point of the season, you have that fab to spend.
Yep.
Yeah.
The game script got way out of hand, so I'm not really going to blame Josh Jacobs totally.
No, because he still had 5.7 yards per carry. It was not like it was, but the Vikings just came out of the gate with 28-7 at halftime.
Oh.
So
what are you going to do?
Right.
You got to throw.
You're going to throw 54 times.
Yeah, right. Sam Darnold still on fire. 20 of 28, 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. 23 fantasy points.
Good for Sam Darnold.
Yeah. Be an easy top 10 weekly play now. Gotta be.
No.
Why not?
Just outside.
Really?
Yeah, because it's so weird right now in fantasy football. And I feel like it has to level out a little bit.
Yeah. So rest of the season, you don't believe he's going to be a top 10 week?
You can definitely make the argument because he's got 2 competent targets. And Justin Jefferson is arguably the best wide receiver in the league. Jordan Addison.
Boy, are they both benefiting, though.
Yeah.
I was so worried about this, but they're benefiting. So you're going to say no, rest of the season top 10?
No, rest of the season top 10, yeah.
Okay. Jefferson. Dude, he had some awesome
He's
catches.
Justin Jefferson.
The toe tapper on the sideline was super elite. That that ridiculous touchdown catch.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal. 6 catches on 8 targets for 85 yards and a crazy touchdown, giving you 20 PPR points.
He's a man amongst boys.
Dude,
out there. It's
he's
crazy.
something else, man. Jordan Addison is back and healthy. Only 4 targets, but caught 3 of them. 72 yards and a touchdown. He also had 1 carry for 7 yards and a score. So they're finding different ways
and
to
Jordan
get the ball.
Addison is still that player too. That like anything can happen when you get the ball in his hands.
Yeah, 22 PPR points.
Playmaker, and in its purest form.
Yep. Flex with upside.
Yeah.
Feel okay saying that?
Yeah,
Going
absolutely.
forward? Me too. Aaron Jones picks right up where he left off. 22 carries, 93 yards, 4 catches for 46 yards, 18 PPR points. Love the volume.
Yeah.
Week in and week out production from Aaron Jones. I mean, that should well surpass the ADP at this rate.
Yeah, he's one that I was a little gun shy at the beginning of the year
me
that I
too.
wish I wouldn't have been because, man, he's playing good.
Well, I think a lot of people were gun shy on the Vikings as a whole.
Yeah.
So
If you tell me you expected Sam Darnold to come do what he's been doing, I'm going to call you a liar right to your face.
yeah, no kidding. All right, let's move on to the Steelers 24, Colts 27. Anthony Richardson left early with a hip injury. Sounds like a hip boiner, but it sounds like he might not miss any time. Could miss a week.
Yeah,
See.
it didn't look like a good injury at first, but
Then he was like fine, hanging out on the sideline, cheering for the
cheering
team,
on Joe.
wearing his uniform. I mean, he had everything on.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So meanwhile, Joe Flacco show until we know more. That's a bummer though, because Richardson was throwing the ball quite well. He was like 3 for 4 or 4 for 5 and had like 72, 74 yards, something like that. Ran a couple times, was pushing the 30-yard mark. I think like high 20s, 25, 26 yards. And then was knocked out of the game. It looked like, hey, all right, maybe he's starting to come around a little bit. Flacco was efficient enough to help the pass catchers matter. He got 16 fantasy points of his own. Pittman and Josh Downs, both with 9 targets. Pittman caught 6 for 118 and 17 PPR points, and Downs looked nice, nabbing 8 of his for 82 yards and a score, 22 PPR points. If Richardson misses time, do we feel better about the receivers with Joe Flacco?
Yeah.
A lot better?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like an Andy Dalton thing.
Yeah, it was just a veteran quarterback coming in there, spreading the ball around, knew where to go with the ball.
Again, Richardson, it did look significantly better.
Yeah,
The
it
little
was such
bit
a
that he
small
did play.
sample
Right.
size. Like,
Enough with the small sample sizes.
the
I'm so
first
tired of
drive
that.
was crazy.
Yeah.
Wide open throws, though.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see him make more of the throws that Joe Flacco was making on third down before I feel confident in it.
I'm
But
concerned about Richardson.
Yeah.
I need to see if he can come back from this, I guess. I don't know. And
the problem's going to be if he lets Joe Flacco on the field for too long.
yeah,
And you see that offense open up a little bit. Because there's some games this year where Richardson just struggled.
terribly.
Yeah.
Like really, really ugly. Well, yeah, we'll see on that. Keep our eyes on it. I mean, if Richardson's healthy, he's going to play next week. Jonathan Taylor left with an ankle injury. It doesn't sound really bad. I've heard people say, well, it's a good one. It's like, well, there's no good one, but it doesn't sound like he's going on IR.
Boy, was there a drop off, though.
Yeah.
Like Trey Sermon had under 2 yards per carry average. I think it was like 1.8 or something like that. He only had 5 carries, but
It's him and Tyler Goodson.
and Jonathan Taylor against a good defense looked great.
Yes.
I mean, because there was a lot of times where Jonathan Taylor should have been brought down for a loss of a yard and still found a way to get 3 or 4 yards.
He looked like Jonathan Taylor.
He did. Looked really good.
21 carries. The volume is great. 88 yards and a touchdown, 3 catches for 20, 19 PPR points. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on the injury. Again, if he's out, it's Trey Sermon and Tyler Goodson. I mean, yeesh.
Neither looked good.
No, I don't think either one is an ad.
I don't even know if Tyler Goodson got the ball, but Trey Sermon did not look good in place of. And granted, they were some expected run scenarios. I'll give him that, but
yeah,
definitely a drop there.
Yeah, again, you're not adding either of these guys.
No.
Fields, he had one of those games we're talking about. This is the one that he mentioned on this podcast last week. This could be the one that happens.
This has to be the number 1 waiver ad this week.
You would think so. 22 of 34, 312 yards, 1 touchdown, 10 carries for 55 yards, and 2 touchdowns, 32 fantasy points. He had a fumble, but whatever. these are the kind of weeks that Fields is capable of. As he continues to grow and get more comfortable with his new team.
Fields played great.
Yeah.
Like the Steelers shot themselves in the foot this entire game.
Yeah.
They should have won this game by 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
But Fields played great. And when they were down, the plays that he made to bring them back into that game were phenomenal.
Yeah. You just have to know, if you're going to go out, if you're someone spot starting quarterbacks and you go add Justin Fields, one thing you're going to have to know, you're going to get this some weeks. There's going to be weeks where you get 5 points.
Yeah, but as a Steelers fan, show me the last time a Steelers quarterback threw for over 300 yards.
Yeah, right.
Literally, it has to be almost 2 years at this point.
Yeah, it's been a minute. But
I don't think it happened. Maybe Mason did it, I guess, maybe at the end of the year.
It's great and all, but we have to remember Fields is capable of, 3 weeks of great double-digit scoring and then 2 weeks of a 4 and a 7.
I don't think you're going to get a lot of those 4 and 7s.
We'll see. I'm looking at the defense they played against. I don't know. Definitely a boom week, and 1,000% you should add him.
To Fields' credit, Pittsburgh's run game was atrocious.
Yeah, it was. Which is weird. They should have been able to run all over this defense.
They couldn't do anything.
I know.
Najee Harris, 13 carries for 19 yards.
Yep. Not enough output with this.
Cordell Patterson looked good when he was in there. Then he got hurt, and the Steelers could not run the ball at all. I think you got to give Justin Fields some mega credit for how
I do give him credit. I 1,000% give him credit, but I'm not ready to just say he's 20 plus points a week like some of these guys. I'm not ready to say that. I'm just not ready to say that. Just he's shown us in the past that he can boom and then fall straight to the floor and then boom for 2 weeks and fall to the floor. It's just what I've gotten used to with Justin Fields. I want it to not be that, and I hope that it's boom central for this guy. And again, I do think he's a smash ad. You 1,000% should add him.
I think his floor is raised for the Steelers.
Okay.
But even the games where he was a true game manager wasn't getting the lows that he was getting in Chicago. Sure. I'm anxious to see it. They play the Browns defense, something like that. See what happens there. But
he's with a way more competent franchise. I mean, goodness.
I really just think they got to tell Justin that he's the guy and be done.
He's not losing the job. He's not losing. I don't
know why he would at this point.
Agreed. You touched on the running backs a little bit. Where are you at with these guys? This is.
You got to start Najee probably if you have him on your team, and it's bad.
16 total touches, but it just sucks. I mean,
he saved a little bit of face with 54 yards receiving, but not good.
9 PPR points.
I still don't have a touchdown yet this year.
Let me ask you this: is this a buy low candidate?
He had one last week. I'm sorry, Najee. I can't say that with confidence
because you would think, if they have to start respecting things at the quarterback position more, you almost wonder, do things open up for Najee a little bit? Warren's beat up. Patterson's now beat up. Just a thought. If you can get him for next to nothing with that kind of volume.
But you also got to keep in mind that they have, big tackle that they took in the draft is hurt. He's done.
Right.
They have a lot of injuries on that O-line. Dan Moore's back in there. We've seen what he's done. Broderick Jones is struggling. I just don't know. You're getting for a little bit of nothing, it's worth a shot, but I'm not confident.
I just wonder if the volume alone with Justin Fields growing with the offense, if
I don't think the volume
couple other running backs, 16 total touches?
With Cordell Patterson leaving the game in the second quarter and Jalen Warren out. That's not going to be that way for the rest of the year.
Did Cordell Patterson not get hurt?
He did get hurt. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Cordell Patterson has a long-term injury. Jalen Warren's coming back. I don't think this volume is there for Najee Harris.
Okay.
It is this game, but as the season progresses, I don't think he's going to be a 20 touch a week. If Warren and Cordell Patterson are both healthy, I don't see Najee Harris getting 20 touches.
Okay, fair enough. Just a thought. So there's George Pickens. 7 catches, 11 targets, 113 yards. Again, as Fields opens up a little with the offense, you can feel more comfortable, I think, starting pass catchers now.
Yeah, it's still Pickens and Freiermuth.
Well, yeah, that's literally who I mean when I say pass catchers.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's it. Pickens, Freiermuth, that's it. So let me ask you this: Pickens or Pittman rest of season?
Pickens.
So let me rephrase it.
If Flacco starts the rest of the season,
Yeah, Pickens or Pittman.
Pickens.
All right. I think we're reaching a bit here because I don't think Flacco is going to start the rest of the season. Just because I think Richardson is fine. Sounds like
no,
he'll
but
be
that's
back
to
next
show
week,
you my
but-
confidence level in
Okay.
Pickens too.
All right, fair enough. In that instance, I will take Pittman. Darnell Washington, awesome play, leaping over a defender, but Freiermuth was that dude. Turned in one of those, 7 or so target games into a touchdown. That's what we've been saying.
Good
It's like,
touchdown.
just
Reached
turn
out
it.
for it.
Yeah, it's a great play. 5 catches, 57 yards and a touchdown, 16 PPR points. Again, as long as Fields keeps opening up and progressing and getting comfortable with this offense.
That's like tight end one numbers for week 1 through 3.
Yep. As long as he keeps opening up and progressing, Freiermuth and Pickens will right along with him.
Yep.
So it gives you a lot more confidence. All right, let's move on to the Rams 18, the Bears 24. Oh, poor Matt Stafford. I don't know. You can't start any other Ram other than Kyron Williams, in my opinion. I don't want to start any of them.
I picked up Tyler Johnson and Demarcus Robinson in leagues off the waivers, and it's not going to work.
Jordan Whittington actually led all the pass catchers and targets. He had 8. Both him and Atwell got around 12 PPR points. Risky flex plays.
Whittington is the one I like the most at this point.
Yeah, but still unbelievably risky flex plays. And Dynasty,
and you just don't know what's going to happen. Like Puka and Cooper Kupp are the guys. Once they get back and they're healthy again. So you don't know who that third guy is going to be.
I do want to buy some stock, though, in Whittington.
Me too.
In Dynasty.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Dynasty, yep.
Kyron Williams, just carrying the load, super reliable. 19 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown. 10 yards on 4 catches, 20 PPR points. Set it and forget it every week.
Oh, yeah.
He's that dude. I don't know. I just... Their bye week is week 6. I hope that some of these guys can get healthy, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's possible Kupp could come back after their bye.
I look for him to be back after the bye.
Right.
But then no IR. Like you were talking about it before the show. You think he's going to miss this week. They'll take the bye, and then hopefully week 7, he's good to go.
I sure hope so. Caleb Williams, looking a little more competent. Still had some bad misses. Touchdown pass to DJ Moore was actually a great pass. He was super poised, calm with pressure right in his face. Put it right on the money. It's in there, man. It's just a patience thing. That line's bad. That line is really, 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 really bad.
Yeah, when you look at these pass catchers, I think it shows how bad the line is that DeAndre Swift is the leading.
Oh, if you watch a game, it's constant. As soon as the ball hits his hands, he's scrambling for his life. Like, how can anyone set anything up? And for all the Jaden Daniels talk that we have, put him there. Because there's a lot of, it's been 4 weeks of their first year ever. Can we pump the brakes a little bit? I don't know anybody who's going to handle that. It's immediate. As soon as the ball's in his hands, he's being chased. So I don't know how this is. I'm really worried about all these Bears players. It's terrifying. It's really scary to start these guys.
I think and you know what they were trying to do. But if you go back and do this again, Rome Odunze, get a big lineman in there.
Yeah. I understand what they were trying to do, too. I get it, too.
But you could make the argument that what they did was very similar to, not same school, they didn't play together, but with Odunze, with Joe Burrow, and he's still struggling with an offensive line. At a certain point, you can have all the skill play, because Chicago's skill players are comparable to anybody in the league. Any team you want to throw out there, their skill players are right there.
Yep.
But man, if you don't have the guys to give them time to make it happen,
this is what you get.
Yep.
Right here. DJ Moore is the only pass catcher really to speak of. 3 catches, 6 targets for 22 yards and a touchdown, 11 PPR points. Like we said, he's unfortunately a flex right now. The only Bears pass catcher really that I have any interest in.
Yeah.
In redraft, obviously I've got interest in Odunes elsewhere, but I don't know. Caleb Williams just needs to grow more to make me feel better. That's just all there is to it.
Okay, obviously in Dynasty, Caleb Williams is your guy, but in a redraft, he's fine being available.
Yeah, right. On the ground is where Chicago mainly got it done. Swift finally showed up. Of course, it's against like the worst run defense in the league. I mean, that's a bad overall defense, period.
And Swift struggled to get those 93 yards on a lot of plays. 16
carries, 93 yards, and a touchdown. Do you have his average?
Yeah.
Yards per carry?
5.8.
5.8. That's not bad. Tacked on 7 catches, 72 yards, 29 PPR points. Just a quick note, too. Roschon Johnson is the clear handcuff. He should be added.
Yeah.
7 carries, 26 yards, and they trusted him in the end zone early in the game. He punched it in, 8 PPR points. It's nothing crazy. There's something there, though.
Yeah. And I think if you're a Swift owner, you can pretty much bank on him stealing your goal line work for the rest of the year.
And I would say...
They get inside the 5, Johnson's coming in.
Yeah. He's an ad whether you have Swift or not.
Yep.
I'm adding him. So get him on your roster if you can make it happen. So where are you at with Swift here? Still, I mean, this game is fine. It's cool and all, but still a lot of concern
didn't
here.
really change my overall viewpoint of him. No.
You
love the receiving aspect of it. If he's going to get more involved in that game because the offensive line is so terrible, then I'm going to give him a bump up, but I got to see more of it.
Okay. Let's move on to what do we have next here? The Eagles, and I didn't put the score in at the Buccaneers. Why didn't I put the score in?
Because it was painful.
It was really painful. Good Lord. I don't know, man. The Eagles look terrible, both sides of the ball. Give the offense a little break due to missing Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith, but man, that defense was awful, and Baker took advantage of it. 30 of 47, 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, also added 4 carries for 10 yards and a touchdown, 30 fantasy points. He just keeps starting this dude.
Oh, yeah. Top 10 QB.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's crazy watching him play, man. And doing what he's doing.
I don't know how you don't root for the guy. I mean, obviously against the Eagles,
I did not, but overall I do.
Overall, you're like, good for you, Baker. Go get it.
For sure. Big old middle finger to Cleveland. I can't say it enough. Mike Evans was the benefactor this week. A whopping 14 targets. Me and Nick asked last podcast. We went back and forth. Evans or Godwin? He took Godwin. I said, Godwin's been 2 weeks in a row. It's Evans this week.
Baker had to get his boy going again.
Yeah. He turned all those targets into 8 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown, 23 PPR points. But speaking of Godwin, he was also involved, man. He was fine. 6 catches, 9 targets for 69 yards, 12 PPR points. Trey Palmer caught a touchdown, 11 PPR points, but he left early with a concussion. So you're starting both these guys every week.
Yeah.
No problem. And I'll say it again. It's really good to see Godwin involved and
having a good year.
Yep. I love it. I love Chris Godwin. Cade Otton, 9 targets, 11 PPR points, 2 weeks in a row of 8 or more targets. Is he an ad?
Yep.
In the tight end landscape, yes, he is an ad for sure. I agree. He looks pretty good, actually. Like, just very reliable for Baker.
Yeah.
There's
Baker spreads the ball around a lot.
He really does.
I mean, like, it's top heavy with Godwin's, Evans, and Otton, but then, like, Sterling Shepard got a couple passes.
Yeah.
Trey Palmer was getting involved. Yeah, like he spread the ball around a lot.
All right, Ty, you ready for this next piece?
Yep.
Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
Outscores Rachaad White 11 PPR points to 10. They had essentially the amount of touches was basically identical. White did a little more of his receiving work than Irving, but Irving got the touchdown plunge. So either way, this is absolutely a problem for Rachaad White.
Yeah, and the scary thing is this is Rachaad White's best game.
Yep.
Had the best rushing average that he had. They both averaged 4.9 yards per carry. They were identical, other than the touchdown. 10 carries, 49 yards, 4.9 for both.
So Rachaad White, we've downgraded him to a flex, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But is Bucky Irving also a flex?
Fringe, yep.
Fringe flex.
I just think Bucky Irving takes this job, though. I think Rachaad White eventually becomes more of like a third down running back. Gets that spell work.
I don't know how they can keep denying. He just to the eye, man, to watch them both run.
Yep.
It's like, man, Bucky looks a lot better.
He does.
Hurts sort of salvaged his day. Gave you 17 fantasy points. Luckily, he can get you there in more ways than one.
The old tush push.
Oh, yeah. Much needed bye is coming week 5 for this team, and they should.
Yeah, they're banged up. They got to regroup.
Yep, I expect them to bounce back on the other side of it, but they need this bye really, really bad. Dallas Goedert benefited the most as far as pass catchers, as we kind of figured he would. 13 PPR points. You will absolutely take that all day long.
Yeah.
In the, say it, Mitchell, the tight end landscape. Oh, we caught you sleeping. The bird is sleeping in his nest over there.
He was roosted, just hanging out.
Just fighting a little headache. Sorry, guys.
But like,
no, go ahead.
the Dallas Goedert thing, this isn't sustainable.
What do you mean? Oh, no, it's just because
It's because of the injuries. I mean, look at the guys who are catching passes here.
Paris Campbell.
Paris Campbell, John Ross catching the pass.
I know.
What is going on? Jack Stoll?
I don't know. Like no Jahan Dotson.
2 catches, 11 yards. Like, what is going on?
I know. I don't understand it.
I thought Jahan Dotson, with those 2 being out, was like, okay, now we're going to get to see him in this offense a little bit, and that's just not there.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it.
And to Hurts' credit, people were not open.
No.
Like, you can say whatever you want about this. Like, you watch this game against a banged-up Buccaneers without A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Dallas Goedert had 7 catches because he was open. People were not getting open on the outside.
Yep, and I said I'm just going to go down this road real quick before we move on. I listened to a lot of sports talk, and today I heard how over and over and over again, it wasn't Matt Stafford's fault. It's not Matt Stafford's fault. It's not Matt Stafford's fault. Then when it got over to the Eagles game, Jalen Hurts is terrible. Jalen Hurts is terrible. This is all his fault. And it's like, aren't they?
You're without your 1 and 2.
Yeah, they're both without their 1 and 2. They both have a stud running back. Both of their defenses are failing them.
You can make the argument that Stafford's supporting cast right now with the 1 and 2s out is better than Hurts' supporting, because guys were just not getting open against
outside of Goddard. Yeah,
a Buccaneers secondary that's missing 2 starters.
Yeah. Yep. So to me, it's like, come on, man. Every quarterback needs his guys, and he's missing both of them, just like Stafford.
Saquon's still the man, no matter what happens.
Yeah, it was a kind of a down game, 13 PPR points, but
that's the floor.
That's the floor. Yeah, this team needs to get healthy. Much needed by incoming. Let's move on to the Jaguars 20 at the Texans 24. Stroud did not get much help in the running game, so he did it himself.
Jaguars put up a fight here, though.
They did. I wondered if they would, being backed in a corner like this. I mentioned it last podcast. This could be more of a battle than what people are, they expect. And people tend to forget how much division games matter. I don't care if it's the best team in the division that's a Super Bowl contender playing the worst team in their division that only has 2 wins on the season by week 13, 14. I don't care. A division game is a division game, and they're weird games. They can be very strange. The Texans need Joe Mixon back.
Yeah.
So the running game is going to be pretty. They tried.
They tried running the ball with everybody. They had Darryl Ogunbowale, J.J. Taylor, Cam Akers. Cam Akers is the only one that averaged over 4 yards per carry other than C.J. Stroud. Yeah,
Stroud, though, 27 for 40, 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 carries for 17 yards, 24 fantasy points. Take that all day.
Is Nico Collins in top 5 wide receiver conversation now?
That's in my notes. I have a question. Nico or St. Brown rest of season?
That's tough.
Uh-huh.
But that alone is... give me Nico.
Give me St. Brown, but it is really, really close. Dude, Nico looks really good.
Yeah.
He looks fantastic.
Dude's a baller.
He was an animal he had 15 targets. He caught 12 of them for 151 yards and a touchdown, 33 PPR points. I do think he could be like that top 3 type tier in that.
It just seems like that kind of season for Nico. Like it's there.
Somewhere between like 3 and 6 to finish would not shock me one bit.
No.
He's that dude on this team. It's clear. It's like the whole debate, him and Diggs, it's him. It's not Diggs.
He's the better receiver at this point.
Yeah, for sure he is. Diggs did do all right with the work that he had. He had 9 targets, 5 catches for 69 yards, 1 carry for 6 and a touchdown, 17 PPR points. That touchdown kind of saved you. That was a pretty slick play by him.
It was.
Listen, like you said, the Jaguars came to play this week. It just
was on that run, right?
Yeah,
but 6 points, 6 points.
Yep, got hung up in the backfield and
Hell
decided to go back the other way and right up the middle. Jaguars did come to play, though. It just not enough. You know what I hated? That QB draw play in the fourth quarter when it was fourth down, like right in front of them. Like, what are you doing? What are you? Well, first of all, why didn't they just take the points there and go up 6 to force the Texans to have to throw and score a touchdown? And it kind of like
it opened the door,
right? But and you know, making them have to score 6 just helps your defense.
Yeah,
it forces them to have to. Yeah, it makes them a little more one-dimensional.
Let's get to these Jaguars running backs. Chat.
Yeah,
I know you want to talk about this.
Travis Etienne. I'm going to say it again, Ty. You ready?
Yep.
For everyone out there that doubted me. Told you so. I don't hate to say it. 7 PPR points. 7 PPR points. Tank Bigsby? 9.
All ground yardage for Tank Bigsby.
Yeah. 12 total touches for Etienne, 7 for Bigsby. This is a huge problem. Etienne is, again, overvalued, overdrafted.
Tank Bigsby's a big ad, right?
A big ad? He's an ad.
Yeah.
He's an ad. I don't know.
It's tough. Tank Bigsby had the big runs. And I know Etienne did the down game. Still 4.5 yards per carry.
This whole team, though, like I don't.
Is Brian Thomas here?
Could be. Him and Christian Kirk were like they were the pass catchers to benefit here. Kirk out-targeted Thomas 12-9. Both got in the end zone. Thomas gave you 21 PPR points. Kirk gave you 19. Thomas or Kirk rest of the season.
Brian Thomas.
Give me Brian Thomas too. Flex?
Yeah.
With some upside. Okay. Let's move on to the Broncos 10, the Jets 9.
Good God, this game is ugly.
Unwatchable. The weather wasn't great, but
Dude, I'm a football freak, so I watched the USFL and I've watched a pile of USFL games that were better than this one. This was terrible.
This game was so bad, Breece Hall only scored 3 PPR points.
Yeah. I don't even, yeah.
Braylon Allen scored 5.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Pretty much split the workload. What's going on there?
I don't know.
I just don't. I think Braylon Allen is just so good and so talented. Like, they can't just be like, well, we're just going to not play him. They have to play him.
Right.
He's too good to keep off the field. Right?
Seems that way.
How concerned are you as a Breece Hall owner?
Very. Because where you drafted him at? Like, if you're talking redraft, Breece Hall was top 10 pick easily. There might be a couple leagues where he shadowed out, but you're figuring even if he's a third running back taken, it's Bijan, Christian McCaffrey, then Breece Hall at the start of this season. Like, man, and you're just not getting the return on that ADP if Braylon Allen is going to continue to.
Hall's still going to have his monster games. He's too damn good not to. But this kind of sucks if you're a Breece Hall owner.
For sure.
Makes things real tough. Again, Braylon Allen's a real deal. I think he's good.
Yeah.
If he's available, he's an ad. He's getting to the point where, like, in good games, he's going to have just fine, like, standalone flex value.
Breece Hall was terrible running the ball in this game.
Yeah.
10 carries for like 5 yards. And Braylon Allen took 8 carries and turned them into 34 yards.
Yeah.
Pass catching was weird for the Jets.
Yeah, it's just 7 PPR points for Garrett Wilson. I think Mike Williams and Alan Lazard each got you 10 PPR.
Yeah.
But Surtain just locked Wilson up. The other two benefited. I mean, if that's the word you want to use.
Yeah, nobody really benefited in this game.
No, this is a trash game. We can almost just move on.
Let's do.
Well, the only thing to touch on outside of that is, well, there's 2 things actually. Quick, Javonte out-touched Jaleel McLaughlin 18-10. They both scored under 10 PPR points, so do with that whatever you will. But we said to stay patient with Courtland Sutton. Target share is way too ridiculous to ignore, right?
Yeah.
When Nix progresses, so will Sutton's output. Sutton has back-to-back weeks with 13 or more PPR points.
Listen, Courtland Sutton had the same amount of receiving yards that Knicks had passing yards.
Don't care. I don't care.
He's 12 of 25 for 60 yards, and Cortland Sutton had 3 catches for 60 yards.
I don't care.
It's not.
It's the only guy he's throwing the ball to.
Are you starting him?
No, but why would you cut him? That's 2 back-to-back weeks of double digit. That's a 13 and a 15. Back-to-back weeks with insane target share, double-digit target share, essentially every single week. How do you cut that? People are holding on to Mark Andrews, and you're talking about cutting a guy who gets 10-plus targets.
I ain't holding on to either of them.
No way, dude. There's no way. Bye weeks are coming, man. Bye weeks are coming. And you get to week 12, 13, Bo Nix could be significantly better. He's not going to be setting the world on fire.
Right. He might throw for 100 yards.
That's fine. Out. 82 of them go to Cortland Sutton. That's fine. I don't care. He can throw for 50 yards and 1 touchdown every game. And if that's what Cortland Sutton gets, 50 yards and a touchdown every game, I'm taking it and I'm flexing it.
If you take away the touchdowns, which aren't going to come.
No, they're not. But the target share is there. You can't just get rid of it. All I'm saying is back-to-back weeks, you agreed. You don't cut this guy.
No, you don't. But it's garbage.
It is garbage. But it's all right. I'm pulling this up right now. We're going to spend way more time on this than I had intended. Cortland Sutton. Targets from week 1 to now, 12, 4, 11, 9. The 4 was against Pittsburgh.
Bye.
15 PPR points against the Jets. What receiver's doing that? I know it's not crazy. I understand that. But he had 9 targets. He scored 8, 3, 13, and 15.
I think you're going to get a lot of 8s and 3s.
I'll take. Give me between 8s and 13s. I'm not cutting this guy.
All right.
People are holding on to Mark Andrews, and you're telling me to cut this dude. There's not a chance. We didn't say cut him. I guess I'll give you that.
No, I'd have traded Mark Andrews after week 1.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Sunday 4:00 games. Commanders 42, Cardinals 14. Jaden Daniels is a real deal. Give me some Jaden Daniels, Tyler.
Oh, yeah. Daniels. I think this kid's the real deal.
Pocket presence, awareness, ability to get through progressions. He processes defenses. All that stuff was overshadowed by his athletic ability coming out of college. But people forgot how good he was at that.
This guy threw 4 incompletions.
Yeah.
I get it. It's Arizona's defense. It's not a world burner on defense, but any game in the NFL that you can throw 30 passes and only 4 of them go incomplete, I don't care who you are, that's good.
I'd like to add to that, he hasn't played a good defense yet.
No.
That should be noted. I just want to throw that out there. I'm not saying Jaden Daniels isn't a fantastic elite fantasy asset because I think he very well could be. But
Terry McLaurin, he got him involved this week. That was good to see.
That guy's been so patient.
Yeah.
It's so non-diva.
Oh, Terry's great. Yeah.
He's awesome. Something's clicked between him and Daniels.
Limited Zacchaeus was big. I don't know what happened there, but he blew up this week. Yeah, Jaden Daniels is great. You know who else is great for the Commanders? Brian Robinson.
Yeah, he's been a steal.
League winner.
Yep. Steal of an ADP, man. 20 PPR points this game. 24 total touches. Incredible volume.
And already proven that it doesn't matter when Austin Eckler comes back. You're not taking that much of a hit.
No, but that makes me wonder. What's up with this Jeremy McNichols kid?
I don't know. He did good.
8 rushes, 68 yards, 2 touchdowns.
A lot of goal line stuff down there, too. He had plunging.
Yeah. I don't know, a thing or not a
8
thing.
I don't know.
That's the...
You look at 8.5 yards per carry, and I'll be like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty big number.
A thing or not a thing?
A thing?
Can he take Eckler's job? He's a speculative thing, which makes him a speculative ad, especially if you have Robinson.
Yeah. If I have Robinson, he's a waiver priority for me for sure.
Okay. Another thing for Terry McLaurin, I do want to say his snap share is 73%. Isn't that weird?
Feels weird. Feel like it should be more.
But he got 10 targets. I just don't like why shouldn't it be like 98%?
Yeah. Like unless he needs a breath, he should be on the field.
I don't quite I don't know. They're getting a lot of these guys involved though.
Yeah.
Brown's getting involved. I mean, there's just handful of guys kind of getting involved here. Kyler really disappointed, man.
He was my start of the week, and he was terrible.
I think the whole Dynasty community had like boom week expectations, but continue with confidence.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 weeks, he has scored 15 fantasy points or less. Upcoming schedule is San Francisco, Green Bay, the Chargers, Miami, Chicago, the Jets, and a bye.
It's a tough schedule, but I'm still rolling with Kyler.
Okay, I'm rolling with him, and so I have him in a 12-man redraft. I'm a little worried. I look at that schedule, and it's like, my goodness, you couldn't handle the Commanders, and you got this coming your way?
In the redraft that I have Kyler Murray, I picked up Justin Fields last week. It's at the point where you're going to start looking at matchups between those two, I think. But I still like Kyler going forward.
Okay. Marvin Harrison's the only pass catcher who did anything for you fantasy-wise. 5 catches on 6 targets, 45 yards and a touchdown, 15 PPR points. You'll take it.
Yep.
His touchdown catch was actually quite nice.
Yeah.
That was pretty elite level stuff. If you had any lingering doubt left, you shouldn't anymore. Right?
No.
And also to note, Michael Wilson had 7 targets, had 9 last week. He's becoming not so much of like a 1 or 2 big ball guy.
No, you want to see these two start connecting more.
Yes. Just
he's getting the target share for sure.
Sure. Something to monitor. And James Conner bounced back as we thought he would, gave you 17 PPR points, 19 total touches, 113 total yards, and a touchdown. He is the king of the backfield and will continue to be until further notice. Every week, smash start, easy, no problem. And he's probably your flex.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. All right, let's move on to the Patriots 13, 49ers 30. Ooh. As predicted by basically everyone, a total mess as far as New England is concerned. Can we go ahead and make this quick for New England?
Yeah.
Nobody scored 10 fantasy points other than Antonio Gibson. Stevenson had 7. Do with that what you will. He can't stop fumbling the ball. I don't want to start a single Patriot anymore. Period. I don't want to start any of these guys. Not even Pop Douglas. He don't even get a flex start.
No.
Even in a 3-receiver league, he don't get a flex start.
No. 3 catches for 13 yards. Hunter Henry was disappointing all the way around. This is just...
How much longer until Drake May gets a chance? It's like they're just like, no.
If I'm the coach, about 5 days.
Well, it almost seems like it's like, hey, Brissett, sorry to do this, but you're going to have to go out there and take a beating to spare Drake.
Yeah.
It's essentially what he's doing. Poor guy.
I don't like that.
So it seems like they're doing.
And like, if I'm the Patriots right now and I'm putting Drake May out there and be like, listen, this season is going to suck. Learn from it. Get out there, get on the field, get some playing time under you. Not going to be good. Nobody expects it to be good.
So Bo Nix is doing.
Get out there. Yeah, but I think it's going to be good long term for Bo Nix to go through those growing pains.
That means it'll be good for Courtland Sutton too.
He'll be retired by the time the team gets it turned around. He's too old.
Purdy, he came down to earth a little bit from last week. Got you 15. You start him most weeks. You can do better, but you can do much, 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 much worse.
Yeah, come on. Ugly throws in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Patriots defense is still decent. They got overpowered.
Yep. Juwan Jennings out-targeted and outscored both Debo and Ayuk. Take from that what you will. Jennings with 11 PPR points, Debo with 9, Ayuk with 6. Ty, what are we doing here?
I think Juwan Jennings is a thing.
How did this guy sit on their roster for the last few years and why'd they sign Ayuk?
I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that.
Nick and I had this conversation.
Ayuk has been
it's like,
terrible.
why? Yes.
Not even from a fantasy perspective. Like, he has dropped passes. He has just not been good. Juwan Jennings looks like he's picking up where he left off in the postseason last year. He was great for this team in the postseason last year.
He's just like, you paid Ayuk, watch this. I mean.
Yeah, and Juwan Jennings is going to go somewhere else and be good. San Francisco can't pay him.
No. Well, I don't know. I have to look at his contract. I don't even know when they have to. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know that. I can't imagine he's on much of a long-term deal. And we know their cap situation is pretty much
right. So what are we doing here? I mean, can you start Ayuk every week?
No.
Julie had him on her bench and had Lazard in. Excuse me.
Worked out.
No, this is my fault. I said, I don't know if I would bench Ayuk after that 1 week.
Oh, so she ended up going with Ayuk?
She swapped
no,
it.
Lazard would have been the better player.
Yeah, he had 11 PPR points compared to Ayuk's 6. It wouldn't have mattered for her in the long run, but yeah. I mean, I'm starting to wonder, like, is this I don't think he's a must start. Not until something changes. Something's got to change. So are you starting Jennings weekly in
right
the flex?
Now, the wide receiver group for the San Francisco 49ers goes like this for me. Debo, Jennings, Ayuk.
Agreed. No disagreement there. This was another week you're happy that you started Kittle. Caught all 4 targets, 45 yards and a touchdown. That touchdown catch was incredible. I'm quite sure that was triple coverage, actually, and he high pointed it with 3 guys. And,
it should have never been caught, but it was.
It was, and I think he's now hurt.
Seems very Kittle-ish.
Yeah. That guy is an absolute... I mean, he's such a warrior, dude.
He is.
He's insane.
And George Kittle, to his I know he gets hurt a lot, but the good dude does the dirty work, too.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Day-to-day with ribs for Kittle.
Yeah.
Probably from that wicked fall he took from high pointing that ball with 3 guys in his face.
Probably.
That guy's so good. Jordan Mason continues being a wonderful surprise in the fantasy world. Super efficient, super reliable. This is not stopping, not for quite some time. 24 carries, 123 yards, and a touchdown. 2 receptions, 37 yards, and he gave you 23 PPR points. 5.1 yards per carry. How great has he been, man? He's just been fantastic.
Jordan Mason's excellent.
He's really, really good. So
if you had Christian McCaffrey,
oh God, Lord,
or if you didn't have Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason, you picked him up off of waivers. Good Lord.
Yeah, for sure. It sounded like McCaffrey's not coming back till around November-ish, by the sounds of it. Let's move on to the Browns 16, Raiders 20. We're not going to spend much time here. This was dreadful. Deshaun Watson is also dreadful. 13 fantasy. How long can Cleveland possibly force this? Are they just going to keep doing this every week?
Yeah, I think so.
All the way through.
Yeah.
Just Jameis Winston just standing there, and we're just going to force this thing that's clearly not going to work.
He's trying to break up fights on the sidelines.
That's unreal.
Main.
That Deshaun Watson got fired up, and he's trying to calm it down as the backup. Unbelievable. Jerome Ford carried his weight for you. 10 carries, 58 yards, 7 catches for 27 yards, 14 PPR points. If you started him, it was probably a flex play, so you'll take it. Even as a low-end RB2, if you needed to, considering the circumstances Ford is playing under, it's actually a pretty great day.
Yeah, and I want to make note of this while we are talking about Jerome Ford. This offensive line so far has not been good.
Mm-mm.
You have Nick Chubb on your team. There's talk about him coming back to practice. Nick Chubb is not going to catch. He's not going to get these catches like Jerome Ford. He just hasn't his entire career.
Right.
He's not going to be that pass catching back. I am trying to sell him at the highest point that I can. I have Nick Chubb in a couple leagues, and I'm kind of just hanging out with it, waiting it out. I don't think this offensive line is very good this year. But he's going to generate a pile of interest once it's time for him to come back.
Sure.
Just looking, Jerome Ford ran the ball good. 10 for 58. I think Nick Chubb can maybe run the ball good. But this is a Raiders team that they should have been able to run against. And it just, I'm worried about Nick Chubb coming back. I want to sell him at the highest point.
Right. Okay. As far as the Cleveland pass catchers, it was Judy and Cooper. Judy out-targeted Cooper 9-8 and outscored him 13 PPR points to 7. Cooper had a 70-80 yard touchdown.
Yeah,
it was called back, holding.
Terrible.
They're
both so happy.
Yeah, right. They're both essentially flex plays. But Judy has been the more steady option on a per week average output.
More targets.
Yep. Cooper has the bigger upside to boom essentially, but he's 12, 13 points a week or so is what you're getting out of Judy. You're getting a 24 or a 6 out of Cooper, basically, yeah. Right? The Raiders won, but most likely anyone who started a Raider did not. Outside of Trey Tucker, who scored 15 PPR points, not one single Raider other than the kicker scored over 9. Zamir White has been terribly disappointing. I'm done. I'm off.
Zamir White got the carries this week and did nothing with them.
Nope.
Granted, this is a tough defense, but they gave him 17 carries this game.
Done.
2.9 average. It's not good for Zamir White.
The QB play is awful. It's affecting both the pass catchers and then in turn the running back play. And again, I don't even know if the running backs, Zamir White, is that good. I thought he was going to be.
And you can't even, Jacoby Myers had an okay game, but with no Devontae Adams, you're not making anything of that either. So it's.
Yeah, it was 9, I think. I called Bowers the start of the week. That blew up right in my face. I mean, what do we do with the Raiders here?
Nothing.
Can you, you got to think though, on the way tight ends are, you should be able to start Bowers every week.
I'm still starting Bowers, and Devontae Adams is getting started once he comes back, but this is an ugly fantasy.
Outside of that, I have no interest.
None.
Adams and Bowers. Okay, moving on to the Chiefs, 17, the Chargers, 10. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Chargers defense is for real. They made it a game. I was surprised. I kind of dogged on them a little bit earlier, but that was, again, though, it's a division game. They can be strange, you know. You just saw Jacksonville make Houston struggle. So,
yeah.
Do we still consider Mahomes a must-start quarterback?
No.
From week 1 to week 4, these are the fantasy scores. And this is 5 point per passing touchdown. 15, 14, 17, 13.
You can get that elsewhere. Don't let that name... Like, trade Mahomes.
Yeah.
If you have Mahomes, trade him. Get what you can. And go with somebody that, like, at that point, you're getting those numbers from Stafford and guys like that. So trade the name.
Yep.
Get a player out of it that you can use on your roster and go with a lower, what's seen as the lower tier quarterback who's going to get you those numbers or better.
There's somebody out there that would still drool over that.
If you're in a 12-man league, there is guys on your waiver that are going to get you those numbers. I promise you.
Right. And if you want to trade them, there's a chance somebody in your league would be like, yeah, I'd give you so-and-so
Still got
for
the
him.
name value.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm quite sure we've lost Rashee Rice for the year and probably 2 years because he's on top of this. We'll have the suspension. It doesn't sound good, and that's going to hurt a lot of fantasy teams. He was a league winner as far as where his ADP was versus the output you were getting. If you drafted well and got Rice, he made you a juggernaut.
Yeah.
And I lost him in 2 leagues, so I can sympathize with all those that are trying to figure this mess out.
Travis Kelce was there.
Yeah, he finally arrived. 15 PPR points, 9 targets, caught 7 for 89. He's probably going to benefit with an extra piece of the targets here.
For sure.
I expect an uptick, unfortunately, due to an injury, but I mean, that's just how it goes. He's going to get an uptick.
Yeah.
And boy, the tight end landscape could use a tight end with an uptick, that's for sure. What do we make of the Kansas City backfield? Hunt, Pirine, Steele, CEH slated to return. Steele lost that fumble and they just pulled the cord. He was done. After that, it was 16 total touches for Hunt to 5 for Pirine. So do we lean Hunt? Do we lean this backfield's a mess, stay away from it?
Backfield's a mess, but I lean Hunt for sure. I think Edwards-Helaire is going to get some work when he comes back in, but I think Hunt will be the feature back here.
So listening to a couple fantasy shows today, a lot of them are leaning in, just stay right away from it completely. I don't know that I agree with that. I think you can lean into Hunt a little bit here. Andy Reid loves giving second chances. He absolutely loves it. Kareem Hunt was like, he was pulled over by the police. There's that video, and he like sounded like he was super depressed. And the cop asked him, he's like, well, what's going on? And he explained, he's just like, he's got cut from a Super Bowl team, man. Like stupid choices. He's like, it's depressing. It sucks. It really sucks. I blew it. Blah, blah, blah. He gets a second chance now. He's not going to let Andy Reid down. You're going to give this guy touches like this? I think you can lean into Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
So if he's an absolute ad, if you haven't
will
already,
be back next week.
But is that going to matter? He's been there, and it's just like,
I think Hunt's the better back.
I do too.
Full healthy. I think Hunt's the better back.
Split a lot of time with Chubb.
Hunt
Not like he was running all that tread off his tires.
He looked a little out of shape.
Yeah.
But that's natural.
Yeah. So
nothing.
Adam, if you can.
The only one that I want in this backfield is Kareem Hunt.
Agreed. Hearing of possibilities of Kansas City trading for a receiver. Thoughts on that? Amari Cooper, Demario Douglas?
God, I'd love to see Amari Cooper go.
Yeah, I know you would.
Wonder why.
Do you think that's possible, or do you think they just stick with what they have?
I think it's possible.
Okay.
I think it's unlikely also.
Okay. I'm curious. Keep your eyes on that. They could land a new player, or they might just, make it a huge mess. Should we expect an uptick for Xavier Worthy?
Little bit.
He's averaging about 4 targets a game, like 5 total touches per game. So are we expecting, you think, an uptick there, or do you think guys like Juju, Justin Watson, Sky Moore, assuming they do not go out and sign anyone, that those guys just get involved and make this wide receiver group super tough to decipher with, the receivers robbing each other back and forth from week to week, and it's just like, all right, we're back to leading Kelsey.
More of that than anything. Yeah.
Back to leading Kelsey.
Noah Gray, 4 catches. Justin Watson had 2 catches.
They're going to spread it around. If they don't bring in an elite guy, they're just going to spread it around.
Yeah.
Not much happening fantasy-wise out of the Chargers. Herbert looks pretty hurt. He's clearly in some pain and uncomfortable. Like the Eagles, these guys need a much-needed bye week. The Kansas City defense just make things tough. McConkey was a bright spot, out-targeted all pass catchers. I don't know. Quentin Johnson didn't do a whole lot. I don't know. It's really going to depend on things coming out of the other side of the bye, and it's all on Herbert's health.
Yeah, I only want Ladd McConkey.
Yep, as a flex. But again, Herbert needs to be healthy for me to feel kind of good. I know McConkey did. What do you have? 7 targets, caught 5 for 67 and a touchdown, 17 PPR points. His start percentage is pretty low. No one really banked off of it, but props to you if you did. He's averaging 6 targets a game.
And this front line for the Chiefs is elite. Dobbins is fine.
He's a flex with a healthy Herbert.
Yeah, but JK is going to be. He's still
yes.
RB2 with RB1 upside. It's just tough matchup with a banged up quarterback. Don't make too much of that. I
had a little concern for Dobbins. Hope that those who had him could get by without starting him for the week. 9 PPR points. He's the guy. Yeah. He's the guy there. But when the defense can key in on you with a hobbled up Justin Herbert,
it's tough.
Subpar receiver defense. Group. Yeah, right.
Chris Jones is just a monster.
He's unreal. But he was slated for a bad day.
Yeah.
I mean, just all this going against them. Quick little silver lining, though. It's not all negative. 2 weeks in a row, Gus Edwards is under 10 touches.
Oh, I like Dobbins. Dobbins is like I said, don't let this match up.
17 touches for Dobbins compared to Edwards 6 in this one. It seems like they've slid Gus out of the way a little.
Yeah.
To give Dobbins a few more touches a game. That's exactly what we hoped. So it's not all negative stuff for the Chargers. No. All right, let's move on to Sunday Night Football. Bills 10, Ravens 35.
Bad.
Well, Baltimore just bullied Buffalo. Buffalo had 0 answers for the Ravens defense, and that defense beat the snot out of poor Josh Allen. This came right after I gave Josh Allen all that praise that he's figuring out how to do this without a true alpha number 1 receiver. And I'd like to say I do still believe that.
Oh, yeah.
They just didn't have an answer for this defense, man. They couldn't sustain any drives. It shows in the fantasy output for Buffalo.
No, the defensive game plan for the Ravens was phenomenal.
Top notch. Allen was 16 for 29, 180 yards, carried the ball 5 times for 21 yards and lost a fumble, 7 fantasy points. Better days ahead, and I expect to bounce back next week against Houston.
Yeah.
Allen's pass catchers didn't do a ton. Shakir got you 10 points. Coleman caught 3 of his 4 targets for 51 yards, gave you 8 PPR points. Kincaid actually led the pass catchers in targets with 7 of them. He caught 5 for 47 yards, gave you 9 PPR points. You'll take it out of the tight end position. I mean,
in a bad week, it's encouraging to see Kincaid getting that target share.
Yep. James Cook, disappointing, though I was not super hyped to begin with. Baltimore's been tough against the run. They're 6th against the running back position. I still thought the volume would benefit him, but it really didn't.
He still had a 4.3 yard average. I mean, they tried Ray Davis a lot too, and that guy was under 2 yards per carry.
Right.
It was tough matchup for him.
It doesn't get a lot easier next week. They face Houston. So, yeah, tough against the run. 8th against the running back position as of today. Lamar Jackson. He did work through the air, the ground, netted you 25 fantasy points. You love to see it. But is it me to see ball out against tougher teams and just sluggish against teams he should absolutely just manhandle? It's very weird. That's my one thing with Lamar Jackson. It drives me nuts. Drop Andrews?
Yeah.
Drop likely or hold?
Hold.
I'm with you.
They were ahead so far, so early. You look at this. Justin Hill. 6 receptions. The next leading receiver is Derrick Henry with 3.
Yeah, he went
Isaiah
nuts.
Likely has 1. Rashad Bateman has 1. Zay Flowers has 1.
I don't know.
Weird.
The Zay Flowers thing, does that bother you?
Yeah, but I'm
better days
Yeah,
to
for
come
sure.
here. Okay.
It's a Derrick Henry day.
Yeah, he went nuts. He's not a touchdown-dependent running back. He's doing vintage Derrick Henry stuff. Almost 200 yards with a touchdown, 3 catches, 10 yards and a touchdown, 35 PPR points. He has 350 total yards in the last 2 weeks.
I sat there with Chelsea last night. And we were watching the beginning of this game, and Derrick Henry busted that like 80-some yard run, and I was like, boy.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, we're both rooting for Buffalo, and it's just like, seen that. It was just like,
he's terrifying.
This could be bad.
Last thing, are we adding Justice Hill?
Yeah.
He seems to be like a real fixture, utilized weapon in the offense. Like whether they're ahead or behind.
One way or another, he's getting touches and getting you points.
4 carries, 18 yards, but it's a passing game. 6 catches, 78 yards and a touchdown, 20 PPR points. See a weekly flex like with buys coming up? Standalone
Until
value?
he proves me otherwise, right?
Yeah. Yep, I agree. All right. Do you have any final thoughts?
Just want to give a big shout out to Nick and tell him thank you for filling in for me. Did an awesome job and kind of showed me up a little bit.
Oh, stop it. You stop it right now, Ty Guy. Mitchell, you have any final thoughts, buddy?
I'm so happy Tyler's back.
Yeah. We missed you, Tyler. You did do a fantastic job.
He did. Nick was amazing.
And I expect that we hear more of him in the future.
I hope so.
Yep,
sure.
Me too. So that's it for today's show. Again, as always, thank you all so much for tuning in and giving us your support. Remember, our PPR Superflex Dynasty rankings are now available in the description. Just click the corresponding link. They are available as well on our Twitter. Also, check the description for instructions on how to get your trades graded. Join us next time for our Week 5 Thursday Night Football and 1 o'clock games preview. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe to our Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube. Please tell your friends. See you next time, everybody.
Yeet.